at the Winners Lounge.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's do this. Man, that was... I can't believe we just watched that ass whooping, and that was the introduction we got.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Maybe it was just so professional of an ass whipping that was just,
It was business.
like, whatever.
This is all your rooting during the game. You were down there chainsawing.
Bro,
Chainsaw.
You had a chainsaw going. You were firing it up.
Wow, I missed that.
it's a Friday night. It's a Friday night at the DNVR Bar. There's literally no place that's better on earth. It was a fun one, too. When you watch your team just smack their opponent. Granted, they were supposed to smack their opponent, but when you watch them do it, it feels great. We're presented, as always, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download it. Use promo code DNVR. Don't listen to Superstar Dev. Listen to me. Superstar Dev did not hit his bets tonight. I hit my lock in the first quarter.
This guy's Superstar Dev comes on to DNVR this season. I don't even know if he's like a Denver sports fan. The guy
true.
just bets against the Nuggets every single night.
But
And
I
on
do
nights
my
like
job.
tonight, it costs him.
I do my job, and I do it pretty well. It's because I win. I win. Tonight was not a winning day, and I'm sad if I let anybody down, but guess what? We have a professional gambler here.
Yes,
we
yes,
have
yes.
a professional. I'm fronting it. You gotta fake it
fronting
until you
it.
make
Fake it
it.
until
We
you
have a real professional here
I
today.
bet, and I have a little comedic aspect to me.
Exactly. Over here, we got the man with the wind in his hair. The Peloton Prince once again. He rides again. It's Harrison Wind.
Why is it the Peloton Prince? What's up with that?
I'm the only one in the company with the Peloton, I think.
This guy right here is first team all Peloton,
Yeah,
man.
big
Adam
Peloton
looks
guy.
like he's
Big
in shape.
Peloton
Is that right?
Yeah, you
I'll
look
take
looking
that.
firm.
Nobody's ever said that. I'll take it, though. I'll take it. And then over here, you guys have no idea. Arguably, the Nikola Jokic of professional gambling. Is
I
that
don't
a
know
fair?
about
Is that a
that.
fair
No.
comparable? Yes, it is
Way
too.
too high. I mean, he's about to win the MVP.
All right. So what are you? Give me your.
I'm like the Jamal Murray. I mean, I'm injured.
I'd
All
take
right.
that.
It's too high of expectations.
let me just say he's the only one on this panel that has won $1 million gambling this week. This
I'll go with
month.
that. I'm good with that.
So over here from Run Pure Sports, one of my good buddies, by the way. We grew up with this dude, but also an incredible sports gambler, Tony Niehaus.
What's going on? I watched this show many a times. Talk trash. You guys never see my messages though. Like I'll say
I
stuff
see
in
'em.
there.
I
You just
see 'em.
ignore them.
I just
That's
ignore
how
'em.
it
You
is.
should actually take that up with Kale.
Yeah.
He decides what he decides what comments go on the show.
I mean, so many times I say something and you just ignore me.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
incoherent.
Usually it's good things too, like Jokic MVP.
Yeah, that's
no
true.
love.
That-
You know what?
That's
You
a good
gotta
comment.
direct it to me.
I'm gonna
they
do that from
trash
now
talk
on.
me, but I shout out my people, man. We have a good community in there, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
shout them out. So it's these guys that you have to worry about. Harrison is too busy. He's too businesslike. So I give him credit. But D-line,
Thank you.
Vote,
Thank you.
and Adam. Well, Adam, you have a job. You have to. You can't.
I have a tough job, man.
You can't do that. But so is D-line, Kale, and Vote.
So Tony's very good at sports gambling. The Denver Nuggets, without Jamal Murray, apparently very good at NBA basketball. 2 for 2 now in this post Jamal Murray era. And look, the Houston Rockets aren't very good. They might be tanking. They were without a bunch of guys, but I'll tell you what: 35-28 in the first quarter, 34-21 in the second quarter. There's winning against bad teams who are tanking, and then there is just absolutely running them off the court.
Yeah.
The Nuggets on this Friday night, they did this the latter.
What was great about this win was it was just an absolute no-doubter.
It was a
This was
no-doubter.
a no-doubter from the first possession of the game, it felt like.
Yeah.
You knew the Nuggets were going to win tonight. After the first few minutes of this game, you knew it was going to be a blowout from the first few possessions of this game. And there was a lot of stuff that went right tonight. Nikola Jokic had a great night. Michael Porter Jr. had a great night. Jermichael Green, Paul Millsap. Everybody wants to fire Michael Malone for playing those two together. Hey, they've been pretty good these last
When a
weeks.
player like Kevin Durant, they put this stat out the other day that Kevin Durant, since coming back, has 90 points in 90 minutes. And I'm like, that's pretty good if you score a point a minute. But if
Yeah.
you score more than a point a minute and grab 16 rebounds and dish out 7 assists
Yeah.
and grab 2 steals, that's really good.
I mean, he's just dominant, and I don't understand why that. You want to talk about gambling? He's still only like minus 225 to win the MVP, and I just don't get it. Like he's gonna win.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
I mean, are we gonna get screwed or something? Like I know the national media is kind of against it right now. Are they somehow just not gonna vote for him or something?
There's no way, man. I'm telling you, you're right that this is the biggest deal. You know how the Lakers, their lines are always like 3 points in their favor because there's so
Yeah.
many Lakers fans that will always buy Lakers. It's the opposite for Jokic, where he could be the front runner by a mile, and every voter could come out and be like, I am voting for Jokic, and the line would still be minus 200 because they're just like, well, there's enough suckers out there that are like, I don't know if Jokic is actually good. Let's give it these final 15 games to find out.
Yeah.
He's literally been easily the best player all year. Like, it's just the facts. He's dominated, and he's played every game. There's no way he doesn't win it. And the Nuggets have the easiest schedule the rest of the way, so they're not going to fall off.
That's the thing. The only way he could not win it is if Denver was to slip to 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But that just seems like that just seems so unlikely because of the easy schedule. And we've seen over the last two games they can just rack up wins.
We got
without Jamal Murray.
We got the super chat here from our guy Gordon. First team all super chat. He says the Nuggets are bullies and Jokic is a beast. Strong agree. The Nuggets did bully tonight. They were bullies out on the court. Dev, do you have a comment on Jokic? Because here's the thing I'll say about Jokic's game. He went 10 of 12 from the field. One of those was a miss that he rebounded and then scored very casually. You might even say an intentional miss. I'm not sure. So
what was the other miss? Do we remember?
We can't remember. We can't remember
I'm
what
gonna
it
look it
was.
up.
So if I can't remember the miss, I'm just going to say that it was the Michael Porter goaltend. I just have to say
That's right. It might
has to
have
be
been that.
Because we can't remember another miss. But yeah, like if there's anything that you say about Jokic, it's just how consistent he's doing and just so easy. He goes out there every single night, and that was a night. I mean, I think we're saying it so often that like I really try not to say it, but it's so easy for him. It's like he's not even trying to do it. 29 points where he really doesn't miss at all. He grabs every rebound that comes his way, and it's not in the same way that everyone else does it. Everyone else, they just like, okay, we're going to give it to Jokic, let him pad his stats, like Westbrook and all those other guys. But Jokic is doing it within the flow of like playing, and everybody else is still getting theirs. And he's like, okay, you guys can get yours, but also I'm going to get mine. And then he's out there. I think he toyed around tonight. Like, this was a night that Jokic was, like, deep in his bag. He's doing the no-look passes. He's like, hey, you guys think I'm that Larry Bird? He does the no-look.
So he did this to get back at RK.
Exactly. He wanted to show RK,
He made
like,
that pass
you
and then
think
just
that I'm not a
pointed
good
at the
passer? You're
camera.
crazy if you believe that. This was like a fuck you game for Jokic, where he just really just proved it all. Like, I think it's just coming easier and easier for him.
So, Tony, we were talking downstairs, or maybe it was up here, I don't remember, but, you get Jamal Murray obviously elevates the Nuggets to ceiling, and he elevates them in the playoffs. People need to take this comment within context. It seems like, and we know this from the 7, we know this from a lot of games where the team is down guys, and everybody's like, you step in Chanchar or Torrey Craig or whatever, and they rely even more on Jokic. I feel like that's where the team is right now. Without Murray, they're relying even more on Jokic. That's always a good thing.
This is why I wanted to come on, though, because you guys are so down on the Nuggets. And I know the odds have gone down. Like, I bet them at 18-1. He doesn't think they can win, so he's definitely down.
I'm telling you, Tony is he's from Denver. Now he's Kentucky. He likes the Nuggets, but he likes money more than he likes anything. He's a gambler.
So full disclosure, I bet a lot of money on the Nuggets at 18-1. And I bet a bunch on Jokic MVP along the way. But the Nuggets are 45-1 now. Right? Like, that's egregious. That is way too high. Like, yeah, they probably won't win it. I mean, maybe they won't. But 45-1? I mean, they're not 45-1. They should be way lower.
You can throw $10 on that you don't care about if it goes away.
This guy just won $1 million on golf the other weekend. So he knows what he's talking about.
I don't understand it, though. Like, who are we worried about? Seriously. You guys as Nuggets, who are we worried about? Are we worried about LeBron's 38-year-old body? Like,
yes, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jokic, if we play through Jokic, I think Jamal being out might secretly help us a little bit because everything's going to go through Jokic. See, I told you guys were down on him.
Keep hyping
He's
this up.
the biggest pessimist. I listened to it all year. Like, oh, the Nuggets, they can't do it. And then you're down there chainsawing.
Chainsawing against the Houston Rockets, baby.
Keep going, because 45-1, you're right, is low.
It's egregious.
But how high are you?
How many teams are better than them right now? So let's say it.
I think the Lakers, the Clippers.
Why are the Lakers for sure better, though? Like,
because
a healthy Lakers team.
But they're not. How do we know they're healthy?
That's
elite
the caveat,
defensively. And they've got LeBron.
And how do we guarantee health though? Like that's not
Well, we
built
don't.
into the
We don't.
odds. Why can't AD get hurt again? Or maybe he's
He
not
could.
fully healthy.
He could.
And
Well, not fully
what if
hurt-
they don't have AD? Then
No,
what
not-
do we rank?
not
if
fully
I told you
healthy.
right now AD is not healthy, where would you put the Nuggets?
Ahead of the
Above the
Lakers.
Lakers.
Ahead of the Lakers.
and then who are you worried about? Because the Clippers can't guard us because they
Yeah.
can't guard Jokic.
Yeah.
So who are you worried about?
I mean, it says that a lot. Where do I go? I don't know. I know. It's so funny.
I'm
Nuggets,
not worried about anyone in the West.
I am worried about the Nuggets going up against quick guards. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, Denver last year didn't have an answer for him. I think they have fewer answers for him now. So that's one.
Yeah, I mean, Utah's solid. I think they're a better regular season team for sure than the playoffs. But, I mean, they're better than they were. Conley looks way better than he
Yep.
did last year. I mean, they're good, but, I mean, when are we going to have to play them? The second round after we beat the Lakers?
Yeah. you guys don't know Tony. He's not playing a role here. This is Tony, supremely confident in his bets.
I'm screen peeking on Tony.
I'm about to bet the
he's
Nuggets
about
at
to-
45 to 1 right
He's
now.
about to lay a bet on the Nuggets to win the championship.
I really am.
Tony's really
I'm staring at it.
for real sitting here.
He's
about
on the
ready to-
DraftKings
It's
Sportsbook
How
app.
much are you going to put on there? Like just.
I mean, I already
rough-
have a really big bet, so I'm not going to probably put a ton more, but 45 to 1. If you don't have money on the Nuggets right now, bet them at 45 to 1. Like,
Just put a little bit of money on there, see
Yeah.
what happens. Just roll the dice. So, you're really confident in them in their
I'm just
ability.
not. I mean, I'm more worried about the teams from the East than I am the West.
Well, I'm not worried about losing in the finals. Like
Well, that's what I mean. If you get to the finals, it's just fun. Like, I think we can win the West. I mean, they're only 14 to 1 to win the West, so that tells you kind of where it's a little bit easier of a path in the West.
that's wild. So they're 14 to 1 to win the West and 45 to 1 to win the
It was
East- and the-
literally 16 to 1 before Jamal, and like I thought that was high. Like I thought it should have been lower, and then it drops to 45 to 1. I know Jamal's awesome, but they play through they play through Jokic now, which is a
Yeah.
good thing.
And that's something I said right when Jamal Murray got hurt. Like, the ball's still going to be popping.
Yeah.
The ball might even get popping more
Yeah.
without Jamal Murray, because Jamal Murray's an incredible player. I don't think they can win a championship without him, but he stops the ball at times. Like, the ball sticks with Murray at times, and like that works out to Nuggets' advantage because the Jokic-Murray two-man game is so deadly, and it's an absolute weapon in the playoffs that the Nuggets don't have now. And I'm a little worried about the offense in the playoffs without the Jokic-Murray two-man game, but for right now, like, the offense is still going to be electric. The
Yeah.
ball's going to get moving, the ball's going to get popping. The offense is going to miss a beat.
The Jokic-Murray two-man game is one of the best second parachutes you could possibly have. You know, like the first parachute doesn't work, let's go to the second one. But it did swallow up the first parachute sometimes,
Yeah.
which is just play through Jokic, cut, everybody do this,
Right.
which is them at their best. And I think this is where me and you differ. Right now, the team is relying so much on Jokic, and that is better than relying 10% less on Jokic and 10% more on Murray. The difference is when you shut everything else off, that Jokic-Murray two-man game is such a safety. It's like,
Yep.
our worst thing, we'll go to this, and we're going to be pretty good. And that's what they don't have. So that's where I differ from Tony a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad that Harrison finally said it, or just someone is out there saying it. Like, I really do think that while it looks different, I think that the Nuggets right now look better. Not better without Jamal, but just like right now they're geared in a different way where they're passing the ball more, where they're not having to like add a guy to the mix that's really good and really talented and takes them to a different level. And in the playoffs, they're not going to be able to reach those exact same levels. But right now, it works because you have an unselfish player in Jokic that like wants the ball rotating. You have a really good talent in Michael Porter Jr. that shoots the hell out of the ball, and he's just always, in the right spots. And then there's no one else. But so everybody else knows their job. Everybody else
Right.
knows their role. So it's not holding the ball. It's not like waiting late in the shot clock. It's not trying to add
Right.
another
So
piece.
true.
But everybody knowing exactly what they're supposed to do. So having that right now, I think that they're just like, this is fun. This is
Right.
new. Let's try to figure out a way to keep this going. Plus, we have this chips on our shoulder. We're going to play the right way until somebody figures this out. And right now, I don't think they figured them out.
Right. But like, let me be clear. The Nuggets with Jamal Murray have a incredibly higher playoff ceiling than they do right now. They're
I agree.
They are
I
a
agree.
much better team with Jamal Murray than they are right now. But offensively, it's just a more joyful brand of basketball, I think.
Can I say, Tony, I'm looking at the comments here in between. They love you, man. They want you. They want you to replace me. I think like they're ready. Tony's bringing some positive vibes.
That's because you're so pessimistic. Like, you've always been that way. You can't even help yourself.
Tony knows me, like for real knows me, so he could talk shit to me like other people don't feel comfortable. He's all right. I'm too pessimistic, huh? All right, let's hear
You've
it.
always been that way, though. That's just.
All right, what do we got? Oh, can we get to this in segment 2? Because I want to talk about the bench. That's a whole segment. That's a great question.
Is he
I
back
think
in
it's
the what?
one of the questions
In
of
the
today
club.
in the club. Meaning,
Yeah.
is he back to like
in the circle of trust?
circle of trust?
You
yeah.
are now
He
in
was
the
out.
club.
He
You're
was
in the
out of the
club.
club.
Tony's in the club.
You're in the
Tony
club.
kicked me
That's
out of
where
the
I
club.
want
He
him.
came in and he kicked me out, and I'm like out in the corner. I'm in the alley calling people. Nobody will answer. It's wild. I don't know what just happened. Tony, do you worry, though, like what we're saying, that, hey, Denver might have a better first option now or as good or whatever, but the second, third, fourth option.
So I don't think you guys are factoring in the wild card. MPJ might
let's
be
go.
way better than Jamal Murray. Like,
He's so spicy tonight. Let's do it.
it's just the facts, though. Like, his upside. Do any of you guys? This is the truth, though. Do any of you think he doesn't have a higher ceiling than Jamal Murray?
Higher ceiling. I agree.
So why
Higher
can't it be
ceiling.
now?
We've actually talked about this on the show before, and I think
He's
we're all
got a
in
higher
agreement.
ceiling maybe than Jokic.
Because
as crazy
Jamal-
as that sounds. I mean, maybe not. I love Jokic. That's probably pushing it.
It's
But
like
the point
Larry
is,
Bird and Steph Curry or something. You know, it's like, okay, how do you weigh
the
them?
point
But,
is, his ceiling is as high as anybody. Like, it's just high.
Yeah.
the thing about Michael Porter is nobody can block his shot. He can shoot it whenever he wants. He makes at least half. Actually, a little bit more than half. And when he takes only good ones,
And
he's
he's
great.
offense, like no matter what. You're talking about the times maybe they go through a drought. He can get you a bucket whenever you want it.
Can he get there, though? I mean, this is a short period of time for him to go from.
This forces him to do it. Maybe he wouldn't
Yeah.
have had to do this if Jamal was still in there.
Here's what's funny about Michael Porter. It's been a 3-year process. 1 year was a redshirt year. 1 year was the like, hey, you're on the bench and we don't know why. Like,
That
you
was
should
the
be
worst
playing.
year ever.
That was
God,
your
it was
least
painful.
Tony would text me at least 4 times a week just saying, what the
I
hell?
hated
Why
it.
didn't he play tonight? You had that year, and then you have this year where it's the same thing. He, over that course, I think, was broken by Malone. Not broken in a bad way, but broken as in a, hey, this is a team. Fit in. Do whatever. And it's funny because all of a sudden it's like, hey, we don't need you to fit in anymore. We actually need you to do the thing you
Yeah.
wanted to do before that we told you not to. Now we need you to do that. We need you to score 25 a night. And guess what? He only scored 21 tonight in large part because it was a blowout.
Right. And I think he's built for it. Like, I really do. I think he's got the makeup and the mindset and just the professionalism also to take on more of an expanded role, more responsibility on his shoulders, and just own it. Like, I think he wants that challenge. I really do.
I think he thinks he's better than Jokic. Like,
I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
Deep down, like I think he just
I don't
thinks
think
he's
he
the
does.
man. You don't think so?
No.
I think he used
I think
to.
he has a
He
healthy.
used to until
I
he's
think
seen
he has an
Jokic now.
extremely healthy respect for Jokic.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
I really think that he used to think that.
I think he thinks he's a better bucket getter, which is probably
Yeah.
true.
But I think that there was like a time that he's just like, you know what? He's a lot better than what you like think, and he's also smarter than what you think. Athletic. He knows where to be on the floor, and that's something that he's like starting to now learn. And it's not that Jokic is like a super vet out there or anything like that. Like, he's had to adapt to the NBA speed and game and Americanized like type of feel. But I just think that he understands like it's different when you're really in the trenches and you're really here. He really is a consistent player every single
Yeah.
night, and that's
Yep.
what I strive to be. So I think that while he used to think that, I think that there's a newfound respect and I know that this guy makes me better.
I think he knows that Jokic is better than him, but he doesn't know why. He's just like, I know this guy's better, and I can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. Because you look at it tonight, Michael Porter gets 21 points on 13 shots. That's insane efficiency. Great efficiency for
That's like what he does every
It's
night.
been that way all
It's
year.
It's
Yeah.
actually average efficiency.
Actually,
him.
for his whole career.
But here's what's crazy. I'll bet he's feeling great. He goes home, or he goes in the locker room, he picks up the box score, because every player does. They look at the box score when they get home to like when they're feeling good. And he goes, oh, wow, Jokic had more points than I did tonight on fewer shots and fewer minutes. And he's like, I know I was cooking. Like, this
Yeah.
guy must have been really cooking. So
Yeah.
I think he has a healthy appreciation for Jokic.
I think he does, but I've got to think a part of him's like, all right, I've been, tailoring my game to fit around Nikola and Jamal for these last couple of years. Now I get the opportunity to spread my wings a little. And, I've applauded him for really just finding the right balance of his offensive game next to those two. But I've just got to think he's got to be so hyped up to get this opportunity now. He's got to be just so excited for this.
I think Michael Porter's a much better dude than people give him credit for. Like, I don't think and I know you're not saying this, I don't think he was by any means rooting for a Murray injury.
Not at all.
Like, I think he had honestly gone through an enormous personal reflection to accept being the third guy on a team where in most situations he would have been drafted to be the number one guy from day one. I think it took a lot for him to get there. But to your point, I do think he looks at this and goes, I was born for this.
Exactly.
I was born to be a number one. And here I have an opportunity, even if it's a number two. Jokic treats him like a number one.
But it's
like
really
Jokic,
like a number one.
Jokic is like, hey, man, you need to score a bunch of points, so I'm going to try to find you. And that's what's so interesting. Tonight, it looked great. This is 2 games in a row where the Nuggets, look, they were in great competition. This is very important to say. We're going to see how they get tested in close games. What do they go to in a fourth quarter of a very tight game? Those are huge, huge questions because playoffs, there's very few blowouts in the playoffs. It's mostly close games, and we're going to see. But we have seen that the Nuggets with Aaron Gordon, who, by the way, only took 6 shots again tonight, they look pretty phenomenal, and they got
the Rockets. I thought they were bad coming into tonight, but just like from the metrics, their defensive rating's terrible. There's not a good team on paper, but from the eye test, they were extra bad.
So I thought that they were really bad going into the game, and then I watched the game, and they're bad.
Yeah,
I realized that they are actually bad.
They're
it's
worse
like
than I thought.
the worst assortment of players ever created together. It's just random guys that they picked. They're like Kelly Olynyk, DJ Wilson. Let's throw in Avery Bradley here, like Jayshawn Tate, John Wall. Let's just give them somebody. Like, it's just a lot of random guys out there that are just really bad. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand.
Are you talking about Nuggets legend Jayshawn Tate?
That same Jayshawn Tate that wore that Nuggets jersey for that summer league.
Jayshawn Tate, he's kind of like thinned out because that was one of the things I remember about him back in the day. I was like, this is not a basketball player. It's a linebacker, man. He was like way too big.
Well, he's
to be
the
a
guy
player.
that
too jacked. He's had to stop working out. They're like, hey, bro, stop working out.
Whose shoulder did Jayshawn Tate hurt? Was it JaMychal Green?
This happened? I don't remember.
It was earlier this season, or was it Monte? Oh, some Nuggets player.
It's like 2 very different players. I don't know how you mixed those two
Jayshawn
up.
Tate just trucked the Nuggets player earlier this season, and that guy was out with the shoulder injury.
So you said you think Michael Porter could be better than Jokic, Tony. I want to hear you. I want to hear what you think Michael Porter Sr.
I think he's got
senior.
Michael Porter Jr. He is. By the way, Tony just went on this whole thing about Jokic being the clear-cut MVP. So it's not like he thinks Jokic isn't great.
We've been on Jokic for the last however long, 5 years since
7 years for me, bro. I'm first team
I was
all
in there
Jokic.
I was with you in the beginning, and we were mad at Malone for the same thing Porter Jr. He wasn't playing Jokic at the beginning for the same reasons.
Do you forgive him for this? Do you think there's a method to this?
I still don't like Malone at all. I really don't like Malone at all. But
he texts me this all the time.
I mean, it's at least
you have winner shots sitting in front of you that you just haven't taken.
Dude, I gotta take these at the end because I'm already coming in hot, bro. Like it's a Friday night at the bar. I'm already soaring over here.
I'm on whatever you guys want to do. Everything.
Hey, we don't have one for Tony. Does Tony have one? Tony needs one.
No, man,
we can't have our guests in here not taking a shot. Oh, they're good. They're like fruit punch.
Oh, they're good.
They're like fruit punch. Oh, there it is. Fruit punch
like
mixed
fruit
with
punch.
it. All right, Tony, we'll leave in anticipation of what you're about to say about Michael Porter's ceiling here, but first we'll take a little shot.
Okay.
I got to work around the mic here.
Well, I'm gonna have to put ad reads in post, bro. I can't do this one tonight. We're gonna do them in post.
To the Jokic MVP.
No, Givali.
Okay.
Javelli.
No, Givali.
What in the world is
Javelli?
Givali. I heard it was more like Borat, how he says it, like Jean-Qui or whatever. Givali.
Maybe
Maybe
I'm wrong.
like
That doesn't sound right.
That's French, actually.
Yeah, that's French. All right.
I would know that.
Yo, usually those winner shots are like a quarter
it's always
shot.
a winner shot.
That one right there.
Like if they lose, do you have to take like a nasty shot?
That's what we should bring that to the bar. Just
Whatever
rock
the
you up for
nastiest
everyone.
one is,
Yeah.
you got to take it down.
All right, Michael Porter's ceiling, Tony.
I mean, I think it's as high as top tier player, like all-star. I mean,
Well, of course, all-star.
yeah, I mean, all the way up there. Like, what do you want? Like, what comparison?
So
like,
people compare him to Kevin Durant, and I don't think he has the
His
handle. He's not
body's
as
similar,
dynamic.
though.
But I do think his shot might be better in a weird way. Like,
I mean,
KD
statistically, it is.
well, KD can hit that mid-range, and he can get to those spots easier than Michael. Michael Porter sometimes, like, tries moves, and they don't work, and then he just jumps and
he
shoots.
doesn't have a deep bag.
He doesn't. His
As
bag,
the kids say.
very, very shallow
Streets are
bag.
talking.
Yeah, as the kids say.
What's his ceiling, though?
I mean, I think it's Kevin Durant light. I don't think he can be that good, but I think it's a step under Kevin Durant. I mean, Durant in his early days at OKC, he was similar to Porter. I mean, really, I remember arguing with people really early that he would be better than Melo. Like, people didn't think he would be better than Melo. Like, lots of people.
No, who, though? KD or MPJ?
KD. Yeah, KD, yeah. Like, they didn't think KD would be better than Melo. And then KD obviously took off and crushed. But
didn't he like lead like the NBA in scoring like with Seattle like when he was still out there?
People thought he was too skinny though, and people.
Yeah, he couldn't bench press one rep at the combine.
Everybody was big on that for whatever reason.
Great point.
Yeah.
They act like he was just like too weak to shoot a basketball.
Do you even bench, bro? Yeah, like come on, he's 7 feet.
Who cares if he
He's
bench? I
7
always
feet.
wonder
He's
that.
40% volume 3-point shooter. He's good. Like
He
don't
probably
worry.
still doesn't bench that much. Honestly,
I know,
who
it's
cares?
Right.
Dude, his arms are so long. I'm telling you, like all your best bench press guys back in the day, at like high school or whatever, it's always the little linebackers that were like,
just
how many you got?
cranking 'em.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could be
Yeah.
like, of course, the tall, skinny guys like us are like, fuck, dude, this is the hardest shit, man. Like, I think it's physics. I'm not sure. So you think he's? I think better than Jokic, and Jokic is the MVP.
I love Jokic. Yeah, it's just a different ceiling though. Like I think he's just different than Jokic. Jokic is all around. Jokic is Jason Kidd. I mean, way better than that, but all around game. Porter's just a scorer, and I think he can be a good defender though too.
Right.
Even though he gets lost a lot, his length, you can't teach length. He can alter shots like KD can.
If Jokic gets lost, he cannot make up for it. If MPJ gets lost, he can.
Absolutely.
Because of his physical tools or whatever.
It's funny, like I kind of agree with you that like on paper you would think Porter has just a higher offensive individual scoring ceiling than Nikola Jokic. But Jokic averaging 26 a game
Just totally
this year.
crushing.
He's just averaging 26 a game this year. And he was averaging 27 at one point. Like, could Porter
Yeah.
average 27? Probably in the right situation.
but
for
not
sure.
with 10 dimes and 10 boards with it though,
Exactly,
too.
yeah, exactly.
What do you think, Dev? Michael Porter Jr.'s ceiling, where is it? Nugget ceiling, I should say. You know, next couple years or even this year.
I think that Durant is just too high, like a ceiling for him, because he's incredible. He really is incredible.
I think Durant effed up his legacy, man. Durant should be a top 10, no questions asked player, and he might be from a skill standpoint, but how the hell are we ever going to know?
Everything got altered when they blew that freaking series against the Warriors.
So,
just
exact-
close that thing out, and
People don't
everything's
under-
different.
The existential part of basketball, the mental part, this part, like, it gets so undersold. You go from, like, melting down against the Warriors up 3-1 to joining them and smacking everybody, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to evaluate him because on paper, like, I look at the tools and I'm like, top 10 player ever, and I'm probably going to rank him higher than most people would. What's this?
Tony, the people buy you a Sean Rocky.
I don't even know what that means, Rocky.
Rakia, that's Serbian liquor. Let's see you take. You have to take it though.
I mean,
Tell the people Živali.
shoo. Givali. I'm getting
He
jacked
is so
up with
pissed to have to take this right
I mean,
now.
I'm not big on the shots, but I'll do it for the crowd.
You do it for the people.
Just for the people.
Oh,
All for the people.
yeah, that was a stiffy.
Yeah,
It's not fun.
is it as good as you thought it would be?
It burned a little bit. That should be the loser shot. When you lose, you gotta take that.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, that was a burner.
Actually, I don't want to take a shot for losing. Actually,
The Serbians are just going to jump us when we get to Serbia. We think they love us. They really hate us. They're just waiting to beat our ass.
oh yeah, they don't like me, but I'm part of them. But also, back to what I was saying with Kevin Durant. Like, I don't think he could reach that like type of ceiling. But I think that he could be like a Carmelo Anthony type of feel, like a guy that just can score the hell out of the basketball and change. Like, you can't really like make the Nuggets like bigger than what they are because Jokic is the guy, but he's a player that they could go through and feel comfortable with. Every time you give him the ball, you know that he's going to score the basketball. He's also a guy that can rebound in bunches, and also I think he's a really capable defender, and that's what separates him from the Carmelo is everybody wanted Carmelo to be a defender also with the scoring. But it was also the fact that Carmelo had to take on so much every single night that you can't do it on both sides. Michael Porter Jr. has the opportunity to do it on both sides because Jokic is their best player. So he could be a more complete player than Carmelo, who's arguably the second best Nugget of all time because I think Jokic is number one now.
Jokic is number one. I'm so with it.
You
He's
think?
number one. I mean,
Melo was a really good Nugget, though. Don't cut
I
Melo
love
short.
Melo was
He
like
was a really good
Melo
Nugget.
He
was
was
dope.
great. He was great. He was great.
I love that team. That Melo team.
What's
that
your
went to
favorite
the-
Nuggets team?
I love that team. I mean, I like the Jokic teams the best, but I like those teams. I mean, when they played the Lakers in the Western Finals, they were good. I mean, Kmart was on the team. I've always loved Kmart. I mean, we don't need to go down this alley. We can talk about this a while. But
Let's go to the bench here. I know Argentina stayed up extra late for this, and we appreciate it. The bench unit, the last couple games has looked competent, and I have a theory why. You add Michael Porter to that lineup, all of a sudden it looks incredible. I don't think it's a coincidence that Michael Porter tonight was a team-high plus 22 because you put him with the starters, elevates him. Put him with the bench, elevates him. Like, do they strike a balance, do you think, mixing Porter in with that second unit? And what do you think about the bench's recent success?
I think that definitely has something to do with it because he's playing the Jamal Murray role now.
Yep.
Jamal Murray was getting staggered with that bench unit for a while before he went down. Now Porter's stepping in, and that gives the bench unit more of a defined pecking order because something that was an issue with this second unit is like nobody knew what their roles really were.
Right.
They're just passing it around, working the ball, and then at the end of the shot clock, the ball winds up in JaMychal Green's hands or the ball winds up in PJ Dozier's hands, and you just got to make something with nothing. Now that you've got that clear number one option out there, there's more of a defined pecking order. So I totally agree. Porter being with the bench unit, it's made that group a lot better for sure.
Harrison talked about him playing the Jamal Murray role, but I think it's more so than playing the Jamal Murray role. I think that's the fact that Jamal Murray has to have the ball in his hands to be effective with that group. Michael Porter Jr. doesn't. So it lets people be in their natural positions. You have Facu, who's supposed to be the primary ball handler. Now he's in his natural position. Now you have PJ Dozier playing off of the ball, and he also knows he's not the top scorer in that unit. He's not the guy that has to get the plays generated or anything. Like, you don't have to get the offense going because you have this really good talent in Michael Porter Jr. that could score what he wants. But he also, Michael Porter Jr., he's known what it's looked like to be in the doghouse. So he knows that he has to make the right play, and he's not out there just taking shots and things like that. When you put Jamal Murray in that spot, he has the ball at all times. We know he's the one that has to shoot. Also, he knows that he has to defer to Nikola Jokic at a lot of the times. So now you're not having to defer to a guy that is deferring all of the time. So when Jamal Murray's in the second unit, he's taking all the shots. When Michael Porter Jr. is in the second unit, he's just playing basketball, and if he gets the ball open, he's going to score. So I think that is just the comfortability with everybody of knowing this is what I'm supposed to do, and the vibes are immaculate.
I only say that because people that Oso Blanco was talking about it, and it's true, man. The vibes were definitely immaculate tonight. I agree with this, though. I think Facu is a guy that is a great player, but is a little dependent. I said this earlier. You need to build the right lineup around him, and Denver early on didn't have that. I mean, the mini lads lineup is not if you said, hey, Facu, how does he succeed? Give him 3 tiny guys. Just give him 3 tiny guards.
Put him with 2 other point guards.
0 athletic front
Not
court
what you
players,
want.
and let's see what happens. And now you give him a Michael Porter who can really stretch the court. You give him a JaMychal Green and Paul Millsap who add to that, so you have some good spacing. He looks great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence he was a plus 17 tonight.
I mean, another thing with Facu, we can't overlook this. He's hitting threes now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
His last 4 games, 3 of 3 against Boston, 2 of 2 against the Warriors, 2 of 4 against the Miami Heat, 2 of 4 tonight.
Dude, he's like Lonzo Ball, where I tell people hey, look at the numbers, man. He's a good 3-point shooter, and they're like, yeah, he's not. And I feel the same way about Facu, where I'm like, look at him, man. He's been, he's 8 of his last 17. And you're like, yeah, but all of them looked lucky.
Right. But I mean, he's open every single time down
That's
the
what
floor.
I was gonna say. It's easy. He's wide open.
He's wide open.
They're gonna
man.
double off him.
It's the
He's
widest open threes in the league.
Those are honesty threes.
Yeah,
Keep him
he's
honest.
gonna make those.
Yeah.
He's a veteran too. I know it's his first year here, but the dude has hooped for a long time.
What's your Facu take?
I like him. I think he's gonna be on the floor.
Dude,
in
Tony's
key minutes.
pandering over here. Look at this guy over here. He's trying
Tony's trying to get
steal
back on the
everybody.
show next week.
He's an all-time chat.
I mean,
All time.
It's just how it is.
All right, so honestly, you like Facu. Did you like him 2 weeks ago?
I liked him when the season started. I liked him. I've never not liked him. Yeah, you guys just said it best. When he's on the floor with Monte Morris and Will Barton and guys like that, like, sure, he's going to suck.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he's in there with Jokic and MPJ and guys like that, though, he's going to look good because he's going to get wide open shots. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to defend, which, I mean, he might not be an amazing defender because he's little, but he's going to play his ass off, which is key.
And there was a time tonight when he got John Wall pissed.
Yes.
He got John Wall pissed,
Dude,
man.
I think.
That was my moment of the night.
Yeah.
Facu might be the least liked player in the league right
Which
now.
is a good thing.
He's
that.
a Pat Beverly. He's a Marcus
Yeah.
Smart. Like, he's in everybody's head. Steph Curry the other night talking mad shit to him, but the numbers, Steph Curry actually struggled. That's why he
Absolutely.
talked shit, because it was like he was so frustrated he wanted people to think he wasn't.
He's so frustrated by this dude, this like 5'7" guy who he has no idea who this guy is.
Yeah.
Like, who is this Facu Campasso guy?
How old is this dude? Seriously.
29, I think.
29.
30, I
27,
think.
I knew he was
Is he
older,
30
but
now?
yeah. I mean, that helps, though. He's not scared of Curry. He's
Oh,
not scared of Wall.
That's my thing. When we were doing that clutch meter the other night on the pregame show, like, I trust Facu in big games, in big moments, because he's been there before. He's played
Yeah.
in gold medal games. He's played
Yeah.
in world championship games before.
He's not going to be scared even in the finals. Like, he ain't going to be scared.
30. It's so funny when I'm like, wow, he's old, 30. 7
Yeah.
years younger
Watch
than
Just
me. And I'm
because
like,
it's his
Jesus,
first
man.
year. I mean, he's older.
You guys watch? I've been watching this week Ted Lasso. Delightful, absolutely delightful show, man. I'm telling you,
Delightful.
it is. It's a delightful show. It's like a great watch. I don't like Happy Go Lucky or this one pulls it off. But there's a player in there for people that are watching at home, which is maybe like 6 people. There's like a South American soccer player who's just like nothing but positive vibes. And Facu reminds me of that. Yeah, coach, basketball is life. Like, yeah, let's go. Like everything he's just so excited for. Nobody got that joke on the panel, so that one really bombed here. Who else from the bench stood out, Dev?
On this, I feel like this was a big game for like really everyone. I think that Paul Millsap came in and did what he had to do, and also like Malone had talked about Millsap just coming in at random times, and also like not being a guy that's going to play too much. But this is a night that I feel like he just like wanted to prove like that he's still a part of the rotation, even though he doesn't play those huge minutes. He wants to like impact the game in different ways, and he did. He had 10 rebounds in this game tonight. Like he kept like the ball alive. He gave his team extra points. I think Millsap was a big guy that stood out. You already know what you're going to get with PJ Dozier. He's going to shoot the ball every single time. Started out really, really rough in the game, but it started to like calm down for him, slow down a bit, and he got into it. He has 14 shots in the game, and he only has 11 points. But he also has a plus
PJ
21.
Dozier took the most shots out of anyone on the Nuggets tonight.
That's incredible.
14.
It's wild to think. But then he also has
MVPJ.
MVP.
he also has a plus 21, which is like second most out of all of them.
It was a classic Dozier.
Like if a guy's
line.
giving his all and things are not going bad when he's taking his shots, I think that Dozier has like found a way to like not be the guy. Like you want to say he's a
I'm
gunner,
not ready to say it.
but you want to say no. I'm saying you want to say he's a gunner, but you're not the guy that's thinking he's the one that's trying to shoot us out of the games, because he's not shooting them when they're like close in the games or anything like that.
Yeah.
He does it when they're up big. He understands the situation and like the time for it. So I think that those two as well. Also, you have JaMychal Green who's out here like playing hard and giving his all. Like that was a big game for like the bench unit. They outplayed the Rockets so much that it like literally won them the game.
Yeah.
So like there's not just guys that stood out. The second unit itself stood out completely.
Harrison, give your Dozier take, because you have a good one. Just it's very polarizing.
I mean, I really like the idea of PJ Dozier.
Sure.
But in reality, he's just a guy who right now plays too outside of his role. I mean, he just does. He's MVP PJ. He thinks when he's on the court, I get the sense that he thinks he's like the number one option every time out there. And like when he talks in the media and like when he talks in the Zooms, he says all the right things. Like, I got to send my guys up. I got to be a playmaker. We got a lot of talent on this team, but it doesn't always translate to the games. Against Miami, I thought he was great. But tonight, it just seemed like he was trying to do too much.
But he was a plus 21, and here's where I thought you were going to go with this is it seems like PJ's either a plus 21 or a negative 21.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
he really does have the wildest swings, and I think he is a little bit of two players. He's MVPJ, meaning he just thinks he's the best player on the court, or sometimes he's PJ Composure, and he actually is like a really huge.
It's been a
piece.
while since we've said PJ Composure, I feel like.
What's your PJ take,
It's been
Tony?
a while.
Much.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. They wouldn't have won the Utah series last year without
That's
PJ
great
Dozier.
point. It's a great
like,
point.
He came up clutch.
Yep.
When their season
One
was
game.
on the line, but it was the game
Was
that
it
changed.
Game 5?
It was the game that if they lost, they
yeah.
were done. They were done. And he came through in a huge way when he had no minutes really before that.
The
I'm a
biggest
PJ
cojones
guy.
in that one was he comes in, saves the series.
Yeah.
Malone
And then he doesn't play the next game.
Malone's like, you know what? You did your
I
job.
can't handle it. Like, that drives me nuts. And then he was right back to Gary Harris. Oh, I'm so happy they traded
But I mean,
Gary Harris.
in that
So
game, PJ Dozier plays 20 minutes.
The Utah
I'm looking
game?
at the box score right now.
The
He
Utah game?
Yeah, the Utah game. Plays 20 minutes, takes one shot.
It's insane. It
he
is
was
crazy,
1-1
man.
in that game.
He was amazing in that game.
And he was a plus 21, the best plus minus on the roster.
He was making all the loose ball plays. He
Oh,
was
I
amazing
know.
in that game. He can't shoot, though.
Right.
Tony,
What?
Tony, what super chat here? Somebody
What?
paid us.
How do I
somebody
see
paid
it?
us $7 to ask this question. Tony, what you think about MPJ comp? T-Mac meets Rashard Lewis.
Wow.
I mean, that's actually a decent. I mean, I liked Rashard Lewis.
What
he
part, of,
got
what part of
buckets.
T-Mac does he have though?
I mean, they're similar.
What?
Just a wing guy that can score from the perimeter.
Height.
Well, just
High release. That's what it is.
High
It's the
release,
shot.
It's the
yeah.
high release, and
They're
they're a
somewhat
bucket.
similar.
They're really a bucket.
Yeah.
Similar nicknames, like taking their
T-Mac,
actual name
MPJ.
into their nickname. Yeah.
T-Mac was incredible. Like, people don't remember how good he was. He was really good.
T-Mac and Kobe was a real discussion. I
And
was
then-
actually I'm not even kidding. I was Team T-Mac.
I
there.
was Team T-Mac, too.
Kobe was my
yeah.
favorite player, but I was like, I think T-Mac.
How were you a Kobe guy?
Dude, footwork.
good
Have you seen
question.
my footwork, Tony?
You like guys that shoot 35 times for
I like
28
guys whose
points?
footwork was carved from thousands of hours.
I would have never
Tell them
guessed
about the
this.
footwork, Kobe.
I mean, the truth is, Adam has the best footwork I've ever seen. He's incredible in the
ever
post.
seen?
Incredible in the post.
Ever.
I mean, it's
About
the
to get
truth.
really weird.
I mean, it looks a
Feet
little
work,
bit
baby.
like
I'm telling you, I
Jokic. Yeah,
love
feet
footwork.
work.
Kobe had like the best footwork ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he would shoot it 43 times for
he did- he
27 points.
He wasn't a very good decision maker. He wasn't always a great decision maker.
I mean,
but he used great footwork to get to those bad decisions.
yeah, I mean, if you say so.
All right, should we wrap up with a little bit of hot box and hot takes? We didn't even talk about
Is that
Aaron.
not what we've been doing?
Well, we kind of have, but let's keep going. We didn't even talk about Aaron Gordon tonight, and I gotta say, Aaron Gordon. Tony and I were talking about this earlier too. My favorite type of player, because who else can be on a roll? They've now won 8 of 10 since getting him. Who could be on a roll like this and just be like, yeah, guys, Murray's out. I'm still gonna take only 6 shots because I know what my role is, and
Yeah.
I can't tell you what Aaron Gordon feels about this team. I can only tell you what he does. Stays in his lane and executes his role at an elite level.
I think that he's in a perfect situation for not only the Nuggets, but for himself, where he's like, I'm learning the game of basketball in a way that I have never been able to learn it.
But I think he also sort of knows. Like he took the LSAT, aced it. Now he's in law school. You know, like
but also like I'm also around guys that like know how to play the game of basketball and make sure that I'm like in a good spot. Nobody has said anything negative about Aaron Gordon, and it's not like he's out here giving them 15, 20 points or anything like that. Like, he's playing within the flow of the offense. He's not having to score too much. He's not having to shoot too much. He's not having to do too much. And he still is getting all of the credit that he wants. So I think that he's really happy with the spot that he's in, and he's just like, let's just ride it out and see how this goes. And we're picking up wins, and I haven't won like this in a long time, like ever really. I haven't won like this, so I think that he's in a perfect spot for himself.
22 minutes tonight, Harrison. I know he's been a little bit injured. Malone referenced that in the pregame.
Yeah.
That, trying to buy him some rest. They did that tonight. Do you think he's content with 6 shots, 22 minutes right now when you win by 20?
I think right now he is. Right now he is, because he's coming from the Eastern Conference, and now he's playing real basketball for like the first time in his career. I know the Magic made the playoffs a couple times, but like, let's be real. He's coming from the Eastern Conference to the Western Conference. It's totally different. The brand of basketball, the talent you're playing with and against on a nightly basis. So I think he's cool with it now. And I think he'll be cool with it, going into next season.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think there's a chance he's cool with it for his next contract. I think there is a really good chance. Denver, we'll see what they do in the playoffs this year. We'll see what they do in the playoffs next year. I think there's a chance he's cool with it for, the next stage of his career. But yeah, I mean, he's playing real basketball now.
Tony, let me give you a take. There are guys that have to, you sacrifice points to be on a great team, and your value drops. But then there's the Trevor Arizas of the world, where it's like you sacrifice to do all the right things, and people are like, you know what? He's a great role player. He's worth Andre Iguodala. He's worth all this money. And I think Aaron Gordon might actually find himself in that point where it's like, at the end, he becomes a free agent. It's like, what's he averaging? 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. It's like, dude, these numbers are good. But now he's so, everybody watches him play, and there's like, he's so important to the team that the numbers don't matter. Like, and that's how Iguodala was. You look at his numbers in Golden State, everyone was like, his numbers suck, but he's the Finals MVP. I think Aaron Gordon has crossed the threshold where his numbers don't actually matter.
Yeah. And now he can stay in Denver for the next 2 years and earn the label of a winner. Now he's a winner. Now he's a defender and a winner, which he wasn't in Orlando.
I actually think he is a winner, though. I honestly think Aaron Gordon is a winner. Tony, give me your Aaron Gordon take.
I mean, so he's the reason I bet the Nuggets. I bet the Nuggets after the trade because early in the season, the Nuggets' biggest weakness, they couldn't guard anyone on the wing. Yeah. Literally no one. Playing fantasy every night, you'd always just take wings against the Nuggets. I said it all year.
Harrison Barnes, Brandon.
Harrison Barnes going off for 14 in the first quarter.
They couldn't guard any wings. But then they get him, and all of a sudden, that's the case. He just shuts people down, or at least gives us a chance to guard anyone, LeBron and Durant and any of the wings. He can at least guard them a little bit. Maybe he doesn't shut them down, but he's going to do better than we did, and he doesn't care about offense. I know, just speaking fantasy-wise, because it's what I do, everyone always wanted to play him at the beginning, thinking he was Orlando Gordon, but he's not. He's not ever going to be an offensive guy for this team. And the best part is he doesn't care, like you guys are saying. He wants to be the stopper. He wants to be the Tony Allen, the stopper of the defense, where this is another reason I like the Nuggets. I think he can really defend and bring them to another level.
Yeah. I love it. We're feeling good.
I'm gonna log on to DraftKings after I get off this show.
we got some super
45 to 1.
Do you have a headset, Caleb? Do you have a headset?
I don't.
All right.
Let's catch up on this one.
Somebody read these out loud. How long till word gets out on Facu being a
pest and stars knowing his name? Do we call him the
flea? I like the flea. What is it in Spanish? He has, it's not cockroach. What was his nickname? I can't remember it.
I don't know.
It's something like the flea, though. It's like a gnat or something.
I mean, I think the word's kind of out.
I don't think it is. I think every team that has played Denver, the word is out. But I don't. Houston didn't come in tonight being like,
no, yeah,
Facu's going to be a real pest tonight, you guys.
And John Wall, I mean, you saw this when they played Bradley Beal, too. These guys don't know who the heck he is.
Yeah. The termite.
Wow. The termite. That's what it is. The termite. Yeah.
I think it's going to take a long time for other guys to pick up on it because, one, he's not scoring a lot. And two, he's so small that the
he looks like a coach.
The game plan is going to be just they're going to say go ahead.
He actually looks like Ogie Stojakovic, Nuggets assistant coach.
Over under 2.5 times this year, he'll get stopped by security entering the building.
I mean, it's already hit the over.
Where's your credentials?
2.5 times this week.
Great one from the homie Mike Wilson here. Super chat. Are AG braids the new Jokic haircut? I'm not even going to let you guys answer. Yes.
It's 9-0 right now, right?
It's undefeated with braids, defeated without braids with the afro.
And I just gotta say, the afro's a bad look. It's just a bad look. It's big time Orlando vibes.
He must have picked it up quick because you don't just go right back to the braids after an afro. You're like,
do you think somebody
told him that was one game, and then he was like, you know what, I'm braiding it again.
Yeah, dude, it was 2 games. It was 2 games. They lost both. 0-2.
Yeah, I'm going back.
They're literally undefeated.
Both losses were 9.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they had no time off. He probably was just like, I got it.
Don't take that into your bets. Don't take that into your bets.
I like stuff like this.
But it has been hitting.
All right, what else we got?
That's it, super chat.
Those are all super chats. All right, Tony. Is Facu? Facu
why was
back
he
in
out
the club?
of the club?
Right. Facu had some rough moments,
at
man.
one point,
This is
he
very
was like
very
20%
hurtful.
from three.
Dude, Tony is just
and-
like fucking pandering over. I can't believe it. How this he's trying to make us all look
He's
bad.
doing this on purpose.
He is doing
No,
this on purpose.
I get annoyed because of how pessimistic you are. I've always hated how
All
pessimistic
right, talk shit
you are.
about me for a minute here, Tony.
I mean, the best of all was when you told me the Cavs could never beat the Warriors, and I told you they would, and they did. And you said Kyrie could never get it done. He hit the game winner on you and stared at you.
what other receipts you got for me, Tony? Come on.
That's it. That's
Come
the
on,
main
the
one.
only
I like that
He
one.
came in and he was like, I'm getting this one off.
Yeah.
I ain't going to tell them about that.
Yeah, that was the best because we trash talked for like 2 years.
He really is so annoying.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
How you feeling about
Appreciate
Kyrie
it.
these days?
Phew. It's a tough scene for the Kyrie camp. It was a tough scene. When he's on the court, I still love him, but whew, tough scene for the Kyrie.
Tough guy to stand for.
I'm glad he got the one title for me because
He might get another one. He might get another one. Hey guys, this was a lot of fun. Cue the outro music. Big T D. What is your thing? Big T 40.
Big T44 DFS.
Big T 44.
It's not that he needs any more followers.
doesn't actually, don't
but
follow
go
him.
follow him. He's our guy. He's our guy.
Tony
and he's
is-
a professional.
He is a professional.
He might be trying to take Dev's spot on the betting portion of the pregame show.
No way.
Just saying.
Me and Edgar,
You gotta
we
tell.
win.
Were you ever in a
Me and Edgar
relationship
win.
that the advice applies to the Nuggets? Is there any? Hey,
don't know
see, he
about
can't
that.
do it. He can't do it.
See,
Dev.
can't do
I'm
it.
one of one. I'm
He's
one of one.
He's one of one. Thanks, everybody. Friday Night Winners Lounge. You know these are the best. Hit the like button on your way. Hit the
Smash the
subscribe
like
button.
button.
Don't forget, also a podcast. You guys, so many people, our numbers for the pregame show don't come close to the postgame show, and I don't know why. The pregame show, I love it.
I didn't
might
even
like
know you
it.
had a pregame show, and I've watched a bunch of
Maybe
these
this
postgames.
is why. Maybe is
He
that
told
people
me I
don't
was
know.
supposed to be on the pregame. I didn't even know I was supposed to be here.
That's a true story. He actually said, he was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. We have a pregame show. I'm going to start chopping it up and making a podcast. So make sure you're subscribed to the DNVR Nuggets podcast as well. I believe it's the #1 Denver Nuggets podcast in the universe. So you want to subscribe to that as well. Everybody else, have a great weekend. Be safe. Be kind to somebody. Let's go.